This is Belizean Legends, and I'm Bilal Morris. Today we'll be speaking with the legendary Belizean actor from the 1970s square peg players of Belize, Ray Gongora. Ray Gongora goes back to the 1970s arts Renaissance period in Belize, where the arts was at a pivotal part in Belize's history. Today, there has been a decline of the arts, and in my quest for Belizean legends, I have searched throughout my time to find this awesome Belizean legend who I want to talk to bring back those moments, nostalgia of what it was like during that period. To have students of Belize in the University of Belize and students at the tertiary level education to see what the arts was like in Belize, that vibrant period, a period which I call the Belizean Renaissance. Ray Gongora, I want to welcome you, my brother,
Pleasure.
Belizean Legends.
Thank you, sir.
And I want to go straight into that period when you, Beverly Smith Lopez, and Adrian Bennett exploded on the Bliss Institute stage.
Okay.
And talk about that period, the 1970s, that Belizean Renaissance in art. Talk about that period.
Like I say, I like how you say Renaissance, I say Renaissance, we play with words, but they all mean
British and American English.
and just using the word, it kind of get me nervous a little, because for call yourself a legend. But
you are, my brother.
It was a time that you really enjoyed the theater, and I performing with Beverly Smith Lopez. At the time we were known as Dodo Darling, and it was an experience that I have never ever had again. Square peg, for the want of a better word, we pick up people and pick up in our good sense.
That was a recruitment, right?
Oh, you call it recruitment, I call it pick up. We pick up, good people from the roots. And not care your level of education or financial background.
Predominantly from the
there was
community.
A root in that person's soul that they wanted to be a part of, that they stepped forward. And like my dear friend tell me, and a lot of them girls that tell you, I tell my man, I tell my pa, I want join.
Yes.
And the parents probably never see what they had within their heart and their soul until when they come to the place and saw the finished product and their child performing. And this is where it happened, the bliss. When people come, they come with a story that they themselves wanted to tell. As a group together, we work together in order to bring that story out to the person. And that's how we make a play. We had a number of scripted plays. Evan X Hyde, Hard Time, and Witch and John Day.
Yes, Witch and John Day. That was one of the classics, right?
Exactly. Everybody knew about Hard Time, but everybody knew about Witch and John Day.
Yes.
Then you had Shirley Ward play. And these were scripts that we used quite a number of West Indian playwrights as well. And then we wanted something local. So based on the stories of the individuals that we were working with, we did improvisation workshops, and we brought this out where they were telling a story that was very personal. It might not have been about themselves, but about an experience that they know or heard of. And this became our place and our production. People loved it so much that we had to move away from the bliss, and we went to the bar rooms.
Wow.
We went to the bar rooms.
So you took it on the road?
We took it on the road. I mean, on the road you might say we gone to all of it. Every single district in Belize performed. Every single district. Many villages. And then because of the theme and the messages that we had, we took it to the bar rooms. We played in Playboy. We played
on
in
King Street.
That's
the Playboy Club.
Vida Alegre in Northfront Street. Riverside Hall.
Wow, those were very prominent venues at that time. Very popular venues for entertainment.
Exactly. So when people think that I'm going on dance only, scrap him in the little perform.
Yeah. You know, we had to talk when I said, boy, when you do this documentary series, don't make let people talk to you in English, you know, because you haven't talked yet in Creole English, frog guy. You do just that, you break it down right there. But when you talk about that whole organic experience, how you recruited your actors and actresses, those people who were just natural in the community. You went to the grassroots community in Belize. And I like the part of the whole organic aspect of it. Take people naturally for who they really are.
Right.
They have so many stories, you know, and you brought that, and that was what you saw on the Bliss stage.
Right.
You were able to see yourself in those actors like you, Beverly Smith and Adrian Bennett.
Right.
You know, as a boy, I remember watching it, and I could have identified with that in terms of the fact that we came up under a British colony. We were reading a lot of British literature, but we were really seeing ourselves in our own Caribbean, West Indian experience.
Exactly.
I think Square Peg Players brought that we were able to go to school at St. Michael's and at Western College where we are and write about Square Peg Players.
Right.
Put it in our essays. Right? Because we saw ourselves like that. And I want to move from that and talk about how you got started. What made Ray Gongora found a love in this very passionate kind of work that was not properly rewarded? Most of our legendary Babrino, they were not properly acknowledged. They were not properly complimented for the great work and the hours that they spent. The story of him is remarkable in terms of talk about what made you wanted to do something like this.
Like I said, I think it began from the days Fun Time with Cynthia.
That's Cynthia
Henry, right?
Yes.
George
McKeezy.
Johnny Quarko, the great George
Gabb, which you revealed to me. I didn't even really know that Belize. I did not know that Johnny Quarko was George Gabb. So this man right here revealed that to me.
And then somehow I got involved with the library, and I joined the boys readers group. You have the boys readers group, and then you have the girls readers group, and they used to be separate. And then like every 3 months we come together and we had one general meeting, and you had to do something to impress the girls had to do something to impress the boys. And that's when Leo Bradley, the former chief librarian, he was the leader of the boys readers group, and then you had this other lady that was the leaders of who monitored the girls.
Leo Bradley, man, we mentioned that name, a legendary name, but Gonna come back to him, right?
And so that's when I got introduced with St. Michael's College, where I went to. We finally did the play Julius Caesar, and this was for a festival of arts, the National Festival of Arts, and we won first place as a high school in the National Festival of Arts. Gone out to St. John's College, and that's where, at the same time that I was at St. John's College, Roy Baptist.
Yeah.
He was the librarian for the British Council Library, and he was the director of Matchless Players.
Okay.
And he scouted me out based on a production that I did at St. John's College. And
that was the high school that you were attending at the time,
right?
Yes.
Michael's, and then transferred to St. John's. And with Matchless Players, we did a production. I can't remember the name exactly, but had a very small role in there, but very prominent, and became very popular as a result of that. We did a play. Roy Baptist's suddenly moved from Belize to Canada or England, and then Hippolyto Bautista took it over.
The artist. Yes.
And we did the play Square Peg. A play named Square Peg.
So the name actually came from a play.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And a play named Square Peg. And we did it for the National Festival of Arts.
It was a very vibrant thing at that time, right?
Exactly, the Festival of Arts. I know. I mean, everybody look forward. You practice one play for the whole year for the festival.
Yes, man. I used to, as a primary school kid, participate under Dr. Calvin Young's
Exactly.
Great time.
Right. And with that, we entered, I can't remember the name that we entered as in the National Festival of Arts, but the play, even though we came in second place, was so popular that we did that play for 3 nights at the Bliss independently, and then gone all of district, and we call ourselves the Players of Square Peg.
The Players of Square Peg
Presents. And after that, when we did the next production, we call ourselves the Square Peg Players.
Wonderful.
Right.
That's how the name came
about. And initially was under the director of Hippolyto Bautista.
Awesome artist.
Yes.
Awesome artist. Yes, I remember his paintings, his going to his artist place at the Bliss.
Okay.
This is Belizean Legends. I am Bilal Morris, and we are speaking with the legendary Raymond Gongora of the legendary Square Peg Players of Belize. The Square Peg Players, as we know, was one of the best play or acting scenes that we have ever seen coming out of Belize, where plays were a big thing, where people would go and see these different plays before the arrival of television in Belize, because we never had television until 1980. And so the theater, Ray, was the place.
That is right.
And most of my theater was at the top of Bliss Institute on the roof looking in, because I couldn't go in. I was looking, that's why I was watching you guys, stealing chances, climbing up on top of the roof, watching the plays.
No feel bad, because I used to do the same thing too. Just the Bliss had them big glass door at the back on the side, and that day you used to go. Sometimes the Bliss may get so hot, they open the door, and you can stand up there by the big yellow tank thing and peep through and listen to the play. I do the same thing. I do the same thing.
I want to talk about your work with that whole chemistry that existed between you and Beverly Smith Lopez and Adrian Bennett. There were others, Ray Gongora, but you three were like the prominent ones that exploded, that became a household name to Belizeans, that if we talk about that period, that renaissance of Belizean art and plays in the theater, we remember those three people. You, Beverly, talk about that chemistry that existed between the two.
Adrian Bennett, so how to put this? Nobody never there to direct me. I never had one director.
Yeah, you were natural.
And I always feel bad about that because I did perform with people and I did directing, but they're not the director.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I did do good or bad.
Yeah.
So I just do so.
Laugh it up.
So. No, but I saw in Adrian more of me,
yes,
and myself directing actually myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it became an explosion for Adrian, because much of the plays that he played the prominent role in, I was able to, excellent guy, took direction well, developed his characters very well, and I was able to direct him into those roles. Beverly, on the other hand, she brought a lot with her. She brought a lot with her. I remember Beverly initially from Paloti High School. Bautista come and said, "Boy, Ray, I see this girl perform, and Jesus Christ," I had laugh, and I had kick my foot up in the air. We have to get this girl in a square peg. I got in and talked to Beverly, and Beverly said, "I want to do it, but you don't know my pa. My pa not make me join anything and stay out so late at night." I said, "Beverly, make a contact to your pa and explain to him what is going on." Mr. Smith, very put to right, British man, does not speak Creole. You wouldn't believe it, Beverly talk Creole worse than
Queen's English all the way.
Mr. Smith, and I sit up front and I'm on, and to God, boy, I had a tremble. And I explained to the man, and one condition. He said, as long as you walk Beverly home after every rehearsal. And so we got Beverly. Beverly, I think was the same play Square Peg, where she played a role as a woman who was in a wheelchair. And then after that, we had to do some monologues. And I listened to Beverly and I said, "Beverly, there is no such monologue that is written for you. Mm-hmm. Make a right one."
Wow, amazing.
And together, me and Beverly, we wrote her first monologue called Market Day. And that girl fell so much in love with that monologue. Beverly to ride a bicycle and Beverly to read that monologue. Because he used to ride bicycle to and from school, right?
Memorizing it.
She loved it, We meet together, we work on it. At that time, we had rehearsal at St. Michael's College, and thank God for St. Michael's College up to today. They trust me. We had rehearsal in the assembly hall, and we could have got Miss Ramsey and get the key for open the place, carry the key back to Miss Ramsey. We did it up to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Really to support.
Definitely. Knock on Miss Ramsey door 1, 2 o'clock in the morning to carry back that key. And she wake right up and take it from me. And bless her heart indeed. Beverly's monologue was the first time that Square Peg, that Belizeans participate in the Caribbean Festival of Arts.
Festival, which was big.
Okay. I mean, there has always been dance representation and arts and different representation, but the first time Belize participated in the theater. And that's when Beverly did her monologue. And we also sent, and I'm saying sent because at the time I was studying in Guyana. And Hippolyta Bautista was studying in Jamaica. Sorry, I prepared three players in Belize to go and meet Hippolyta Bautista in Jamaica for them to participate in Carifesta. And we did George Gabb's poem, Within the Prison Walls of Nothingness. And you had Philip Waite, Tim Palacio, and Anna Pitts. We incorporated dance for the first time into the production. Anna Pitts danced while the poem was being said. They left, they left. I mean, it would be nice to film.
Who directed that, Ray? Was you?
I did, right, I did.
This legend right here, Belize.
I did, and I also worked with Beverly Smith at the time. I couldn't go to Carifesta because I said I was in Guyana. So, but it was not easy going, and this is why I think we did such a splendid performance, because the government was making difficult for us. Whereas Square Peg was popular and it had bad name. Because people used to go to tell Judge Price how Square Peg did squander Judge Price.
Yeah, so there was a political overtone in terms of the status quo did not really accept that kind of message that Square Peg Player was presented. Maybe there were political overtones, and at the time we had a monopoly radio station, Radio Belize.
Exactly.
And information was controlled.
Exactly.
And it is very interesting, Ray Gongora, to know that, and we have to say this, that even the dynamic Square Peg Players was looked at as a suspect. So our artists were beginning to become a suspect in the whole political arena. And keep going. I just meant to. I had to.
Judge Price
emphasize on that, right? Yes.
But the man know everything I'm going to go on.
Yeah.
And one thing I must say though, he did respect with. Because it never stopped me from performing. It never stopped me from use the place. We got all district, all the village council, the city council performing at all of them. They council place. They never stopped.
When he was listening keenly.
With him,
and he had his eyes and ears.
Oh yes. I mean, here you had, and they said then destroy your home, and then when you go abroad, they accept you. No, as I said, it was hard. It was as we fought. They respected us. When we went to Canada to perform at the Commonwealth Caribbean Festival, which ran alongside the sports, the Commonwealth Games, we took Sandra Coye's poem. That is correct. Genesis of Destruction.
Awesome poem.
That was one. Poems were one of our basis for production.
Very much so. And brought the poems alive.
Exactly. And we took that to Canada. Our first performance were overwhelmingly accepted. The second performance, the director of the festival came and told us that we're not doing that poem. And we couldn't understand, and we said, why? You're not doing that poem. If you do that poem, I will pull the plug. And all of us, Beverly, Diane Haylock, Gilbert Young, Philip Wade, all of us said, you could pull the plug, but for we voice bigger than the plug.
Amazing. And also some awesome names you just called, Raymond Gongora, and you mentioned Diane Haylock again, who was formerly a head of the National Institute of Culture and History, a playwright and a dramatist, that was so amazing. But I had to emphasize that there. So, resistance.
Yes, and we did the play. We did the poem. Again, overwhelmingly accepted. I don't know why the people up that top never wanted, but I never for we business, But as I said, with Bev, and I've been through that with Bev too. Bev did a monologue there as well in Canada. She was a success at Carifesta 1976. Yes, 1976.
I just want to pinpoint that and pin that down and make an underscore that Gongora, that Beverly Smith Lopez, and Square Peg Players. It was the very first time in Carifesta that Belize entered theater.
That is correct.
It's still just music right now. Carifesta is still going on.
Right.
It's just music right now. Right? And dance. But the theater is gone. Belize is not entering anything. Square Peg Players made history.
Yes,
and was very revolutionary in terms of that. I just wanted to underscore that.
We did go back to Carifesta again in '79, which was in Cuba, and we took an entire production called Waluwaha Wonga.
Talk about that. How did Cuba accept it? Because it's a place where the arts flourish in terms of these closed societies.
Right.
Canada, look at what the genesis of destruction, form resistance there.
Right.
How was it in Cuba?
Well accepted.
Wow.
Well accepted. As I said, it was called Waluwaha Wonga. We had the influence. It's Algarifuna, and I think if I'm wrong, anybody, means all power to the people.
All power to the people.
And we took an anthology of poems. Dickie Bradley, Ronald Parks, Raymond Barrow, Sandra Coye, Glenn Tillett. All these people had poems written all over the place, different places.
There's a whole collection of those poems, Belize, in terms of you can find these books now with all these legendary Belizean poets and movers and shakers that Ray Gongora is talking about here. Right, there's publications in Belize that you can find these awesome poems.
And that time we never had publications. We find it all over the place, and we chose the right poems that would send a message.
Very much so.
And together we put it, and we made a 1 hour and 20-minute production. And we took it to Cuba. Carifesta 1979.
That's where Carifesta was at that time.
Right.
In Cuba.
And the next international festival we were at was in Nicaragua. And this was Beverly, Dwight Neal, Philip Wade, and this time we decided we're gonna get a dancer to go with us, and we brought Altia Sealy,
the legendary
Sealy.
Still going. I'm working my way up to her. I told her, you've got to give me a.
No, you must get that.
Yes, man.
I forgot which poem we did, but it was with drums, and these guys did the drums and the poem, and Altia danced, improvised to it. I mean, in the rehearsals, everybody just
Ray, it's amazing we don't have videos of these things, man. I mean, I just imagine as a filmmaker and as a documentary filmmaker shooting something like that. I mean, capturing that on the screen.
I know,
right?
I know.
There were no videos of these things?
No video. No video.
Wow.
No picture. No picture, no video. You just have to do it again. But through all of this, and Beverly played a great role in my support. She supported me all the way.